When working with purchase orders, you have control of the dates and the GL posting. Let's go into purchasing, and we'll go into Create Receive PO. Here we have a purchase order that has not been released yet. Here we have some POs that were created on this date and placed on this date. Here are some that have been placed on today's date. So what we're going to do is we're going to receive a purchase order. So we're going to receive this one from Fisher and click Receive Edit. It asks us, do we have an invoice number or packing slip? So we'll put a number in here. And what date did it actually arrive? Well, it actually arrived on Friday the 2nd. So, looking down here, we see that it arrived on the 2nd, and it has an invoice date of the 1/25 when it was first created as a default. We're going to go ahead and change this invoice date to match the date that we actually received the product. So now that's saying that we received it on that date, and we are going to consider the invoice date to be the 2nd, which was the date we received it. We're going to click Receive All, and that will put the quantity in. At this time, we can increase the quantity by double-clicking the line and saying, in actuality, we received 3 of them, because someone phoned in an additional 2 without actually changing the purchase order. So this is completed here, and we're going to say we want to post. Now remember these dates. Today's date is the 5th, but we're using the 2nd as it arrived and the 2nd as my invoice date. So it did receive. It filled a back order for one of them, and the rest were put into stock. So let's look at the impact that we had in our general ledger. We see the stock was received, and it was dated 2/2, not 2/5, which is today's date. Let's go into accounts payable under the accounting system and go into AP processing. Here we see the same situation. On the Fisher product, we said we received 3 of them, and the invoice date is 2/2. Now, once again, if we get an invoice in from the vendor and they said, oh, our invoice date is January 30th, and you want to use the vendor's invoice date rather than the date you actually received the product, you can climb over to here and say, I want to change that date to January 30th. So now my invoice date is 1/30. And at this time, I'm going to click that and post approved. So if I go into my open payables report for Fisher, you'll see I have an invoice date of 1/30. So that's how you can control all your dates when you're working with purchase orders. Thank you.